All right, so well, it's probably loading right now. My what the fuck reading for 817, struggling to be a star, is in the process of loading right now. I did say that I was going to come on and do a reading about the 88s, which you hear me call the gatekeepers. They are your traumatic core memory points. The example I've been given for like the last 6 years is Windows 95. If you had Windows 95 as a computer profile or a computer program, and then you upgrade it to say Windows 98, even though they're going to tell you Windows 98 is now the only thing on there, the shell for Windows 95 still stays on there. You just put the operating system of Windows 98 on top of it. If you know how to hack it, you can get back into Windows 95 and pull the programs. And furthermore, some of the subroutines for the program of Windows 95 is the operating platform for what's going to make 98 work, if that makes sense. So then every time you put a new one on there, Windows 2000, bow. Windows 98 still there, Windows 95 there. Windows NT or whatever was next. All of them are still in there. Plus, if you're good at computers, if you had put Linux or one of them other platforms on there, you could have your Windows system and a Linux system, and there's multiple layers of information that can tap into other layers of information, and they all have an influence on what's on top. Your existence is that way. This is kind of like getting into where people have deja vus or reincarnation experiences or soul sparks and walk-ins and all this other shit. And, ooh, you're an old soul. And you have remembrance points. And this all, again, ties into the age-old thing of water has memory, and we're a water-based vessel, which helps this soul and experience operate in this field of manifestation. So basically what I'm getting at is with these 88s, these gatekeepers, each experience that your soul has convinced itself it went through leaves a mark. And each experience has its own autonomous thought processes, to where that one time where you were a tyrant, everything that was correlating to that tyrant, to keep that tyrant energy safe, it still remembers. So when it comes into, just because it's no longer the prominent life cycle, I was a tyrant 600 years ago. Well, okay, now I'm who I am now, but that piece of me from 600 years ago is still in me. That memory is still trapped in there, and it's responsive. It's almost the same thing as a subconscious or unconscious thought. So now whenever I get around an energy that is conducive to that tyrant energy, that tyrant part of me is going to say, hey, yo, you know what, Tony? That shit looks good. Do this. It's going to try and influence current me to do something that will be conducive to it. Just like it's going to try and convince current me to stay away from something that is offensive to it. Something that might re-trigger its own traumas, or something that might actually introduce it to a level of release, for example. So your gatekeepers, your gatekeeper energies internally, they will try and steer the current vessel towards experiences that keep them safe. And again, sometimes safety is just don't show me nothing different, or this is what I would have done if I'd known this then, but now that I have the capacity to influence current me, then I'm going to do it. This might confuse a lot of you, but you'll be all right. This is what my personal experiences and my workings have shown me for at least the last 6 years. Resonance only and ignorance always. And again, in my experience, sometimes your level of ignorance is an 88 response. Think about it. In current day society, somebody can show you something. Hey, what you've been reading your whole life, this right here, here's where it came from. And it's indisputable for where it came from. The people who have that 88 function that has now been challenged with something that's going to damage their psyche, they'll throw that away. They'll throw that away because you're now causing me internal harm. You're fucking with my safe mode. You're messing with my programming when my programming is the only thing I respond to. That's an 88 function. An 88 function will tell you to throw information out or take information in that will keep you, current you, in alignment with keeping it safe. So again, like I was saying, in current day society, we see that every day. We can introduce new information or old information to people who are overstimulated, which is a real big thing right now, especially in this quote unquote spiritual community. a lot of people are overstimulated because we're at such a point to where the energy has been stagnated so long that a lot of people are going through that quote unquote bullshit awakening process, but you're awakening with traumas. You're going to awaken with traumas, no matter whether this was 2012 or 2000 and 1998, or I've been a witch since 1987. It don't matter. You woke up with some level of trauma that was co-responsive to whatever time frame you woke up from. However, this whole realm is in a deeper level trauma than it was over the last 20 to 30 years. So now the traumas that you were already operating under are waking up into the normal trauma process of, awareness, knowledge. And so now a lot of people are bringing the traumas that they operate out of on a daily into the traumatic field of awakening, which is, to me, the awakening process is designed for you to stop lying to yourself. The awakening process is for you to stop doing things that are insults to your energy. But however, like I said, in this current state of overwhelm, a lot of people that are bringing the same systems that have been designed to keep you disrespecting your energy into the awakening process. Well, I awakened and I realized, holy shit, I'm a soul in separation. Yeah, but I'm a soul in separation because I'm a virgin of God that has been ordained by God to come here and do blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, you start including everything that was used to knock you the fuck out as what is going to potentially help you wake up. That's when you start buying into 88 gatekeeper levels of programming to where now you are easily influenced into any storyline that was inundated into this experiment in experiencing, because that's all existence is. The collective consciousness is an experiment in experiencing from infinite directions of choice. But if all these choices are really just illusion used that can help create a universe experience, then when you cannot disengage from these illusion yous, when the true you is now coming back into awareness, like I just got through saying, true you's trying to wake up, but illusion you don't want to let go. So you use illusion you as the barometer and parameter and guide for what's real. And again, let your life tell your tale, but I challenge you to take a minute and just go down your timeline. There's a lot of people out here with psychosis. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, hell, you one of them too. Maybe. But again, let your life tell your tale. If you always embattled, if you always sitting around here in the need to know more, do more, or this race coming to save me, or I'm here as a representative of that race and the other, you always in these embattled storylines, gatekeeping those storylines of separation, whose psychosis is real? Let your life tell your tale. See, that is one thing about a gatekeeper is the gatekeeper will fight to keep the gate closed because they already think gatekeeping is what keeps them free. It's the age-old analogy of put a 5-foot fence in front of a flock of sheep. As long as the main sheep stay behind the fence, the rest of the motherfuckers going to stay there too. Gatekeeper energy. So gatekeepers get real more sensitive than that little lead in. But again, at the end of the day, they're your traumatic core memory points that will only fight to lead you into what keeps them safe. But if their whole agenda is just keeping their mental experience safe, it is not, in the common sense, it is not invested in keeping current you safe. It is a subliminal suggestion of control. And again, it plays out internally and externally. Your business ain't going to let you, if you work for somebody, they're not going to put you in a position to do more for yourself than what's going to be good for the company. There are exceptions to that. There are some people who just selfless like that. But in the average business, in the average government, in the average anything, they're not going to allow you to do more for yourself than you are doing for the business. It's a ceiling cap. Your gatekeepers have a ceiling cap when it comes down to your experience, when it comes down to your existence. Because the minute that you introduce a trauma to the trauma itself, the trauma now has to either fight or flight. Or option 3, learn to let that shit go. In this universe in separation, this experience and experiencing this collective consciousness, The main thing that you will find in the collective consciousness is the inability to hold itself together. If the collective consciousness held itself together, then there would be no separation. So you can lie to yourself all day long. We're in a new paradigm. Well, yeah, we're in a new paradigm of adding new experiences into old experiences until the old experiences are let go by the new experiencers. Gatekeepers. In this illusion of separation, we like to use signs, numbers, and everything else as measuring points for how to go through. When I keep telling you, sit your punk ass down and be still. Don't use any of it. Learn all of it, but understand where it's only you in separation. I cannot use me in separation as what's going to get me back into wholeness, because me in separation has already submitted wholeness, submitted and omitted wholeness. So what is an 88? What is a gatekeeper? It's a transmutation point. It's a transmutation point. Remember I told you it is a sub-program that keeps holding on to its existence? It's death. This is 13. It is the potential has already been given to the thought. 3 is a thought. What's 1 plus 3? 4, the trap. It is a balance left over. You understand that? Well, I used to be at First Union, and First Union became Wachovia. Wachovia became Wells Fargo. But my old account at First Union became Wachovia and Wells Fargo, even though it was under a different name. Still the same energy. Still the same balance. That probably lost a couple of it, but you understand what I'm saying? You can change the name, but that initial inception point still remains the same. So it is still the residual energy. It just got transmuted. Only that ain't true transmutation. That's just transformation. That is a transmuted lie. You understand that? You could take shit and put sugar on it and transform it, but it's still shit. Transmutation is an alchemical change. The only thing in a true alchemical change in this existence is you. You can transmute a lot of shit, but you didn't do anything but either go into stages of release or stages of acceptance, but not true stages of change. I'm not going to argue with you about that shit. So the gatekeepers themselves, really just transmutation points. They're death. They're death. But remember, I keep telling you, and it's not just me, but death in a higher sense is the beginning. It is the beginning, learn to meet an end, and it is an end, learning to begin again. Either way it go, it's a fucking journey. What did I just tell you should do? Sit your punk ass down and be still. What won't that gatekeeper do? Sit his punk ass down and keep still. So therefore, it is only trying to find the safest thing to transmute. Don't show me something that's going to make me have to do their work. Or show me everything that is going to have to make me do that work. You understand that? See, that's not fair for me to say that the gatekeeper going to always keep you out of it. There are some help. I could be considered a gatekeeper. My function is trying to teach you to stop looking at separation and start figuring out wholeness. So in that sense, I'm a gatekeeper towards source. I'm a gatekeeper towards you need to look at this shit as all you and stop looking at what's got you in separation. It's really all you. Transmute that shit that you've been holding on to that keeps getting you killed. The incarnation cycle. And it's just not reincarnation as in existence. This is an incarnation cycle of using one thought to formulate another thought to change the first thought that already formulated the first thought to change the third thought. But the only thing that was still there is just thoughts. Huh? Never mind. Never the fuck mind. Never mind. Because the thoughts already told you what to think. So, again, like I was saying, in the illusion of separation, we like to use signs and numerology and all this other stuff. A lot of people probably understand signs more than they understand numbers, because numbers are deeper than signs, but numbers are more easily corrupted. Why? Knowledge. Knowledge will corrupt numbers quicker than they will astrology. And have. So, as a vibrationalist in my own personal handcrafted number system, we will see what's going on via the astrological field. So we already established that the gatekeepers themselves is just death points. They're transmutation points where you either learn to let go of the energy or you learn to be free. So how does that affect Aries? That mind that's already on fire. Why is it on fire? Because them gatekeepers have already been burnt and they just trying to guide me away from what's going to get me burnt, or they like the motherfucking pain. That'll hurt some of you. Some of you keep putting yourself in shit because it is the only thing that your gatekeepers respond to. Oops. You might like being a martyr. Holy shit, we was at 13. We just went back to 12. You like going one step backwards. You like hanging yourself up where you've already been hung. I keep doing this. See, I had a past life reading, and out of my last 300 lives, I keep doing the same thing. That's an extreme gatekeeper. That's a gatekeeper with a lot of fucking energy, but a lot of trauma too. So, Aries, if you're a martyr, you keep giving your energy to shit that don't never show you reciprocity, the common denominator is you. It ain't that it didn't give you reciprocity. Reciprocity wasn't there before you gave yourself. Oops, Taurus. Oops, reality, 18. Damn. And I shuffled these cards, but these are like some of the same cards that came from my other reading. But reality. The reality is I am emotion. This is La Luna. This is the moon. The moon rules your emotions, your energy and motion. Taurus just likes to sit still. In this sense of the gatekeepers, this is, I'm going to understand that I'm going to sit still until I see what's real to me. That can be stubborn. That can be stubborn as shit. If what is real to you has already, remember I showed you, I said something earlier about somebody can show you that what you think is real is not real at all. You can't do that to me. You can't shatter my reality. Well, dude, I just showed you your reality ain't real, so now you're willing to be fake. If your reality is steeped in illusion and you don't want to set it free, you're not the fakest motherfucker in your own life. Why? Because the potential for the struggle, 1 + 8, already got you 9 under control. 9 on the bottom, not a good thing. That's control. 9 on the top will be highest vibration. You're operating in a high vibration. In this sense, you are emotionally under control and you don't want anything to alter it. So for the Taurus, your 88s don't want to be challenged to see something different other than what they've already invested in seeing. So from Taurus, you go into Gemini. That in itself right there, if you understand it, I'm a martyr to reality. That means I've already sacrificed myself to reality to tell a storyline. Gemini is already going to try and operate from what's not real. On a deeper sense, this is what a lot of people understand. If you always hear me say that this is all an illusion, that doesn't mean that it does not have a value because we give the value to it, but none of it's real. So there is the you that is still sitting in wholeness, lying to itself, and there is the you that is going through the experience mentally. You understand that? There is you, and this is you in the dream, the great sleep. So the Gemini is the basis for the great sleep because you've already sacrificed yourself to a reality because you didn't like what reality is. You're going to try and create a different one. But you lost yourself as God. The 3 took over the 4. The thought, remember I told you, thought, that 3 took over the 4. 4 is what got created. 4 is where I got trapped. 4 is what's visualization, what I saw. So, and this is in the sense of selfishness. This really, if you want to honor that word selfishness, it really is what it is. It's selfish for you to not accept things for what they are based off of what you want them to be. And again, that's a lot of people out here right now. In this state of psychosis that we currently are in, there's a lot of people that see what's really going on, but it don't fit what they told themselves have to be going on, and they won't relent. So you become your own force of separation, that Gemini energy. And again, one thing a lot of you might not understand, I always tell you, you are all signs. I don't give a fuck when you was born and where the moon was and where Saturn was. You are all these signs. You are wholeness playing out the role of yourself in separation and placements. Stop being the placements and be the whole fucking map. So, or you'll end up being a Cancer. You put yourself in separation,